Happy New Year. I'm Janice Edwards and welcome to Signature Silicon Valley. Coming up on our show today, we'll have an excerpt from my interview with Reverend Jesse Jackson. Then Home First is providing housing for those most in need. New year, new look. We'll talk with makeup artist Sarah Dashty about what you can do to really enhance what you want to bring forward in this new year of 2015. And we'll look back to something from the holidays with Vernon Davis's Toy Drive. That's all coming up next on Signature Silicon Valley. Join us. Welcome to Signature Silicon Valley. I'm Janice Edwards and welcome to 2015. In December, Reverend Jesse Jackson came to Silicon Valley to talk about the next steps in technology. I had a half-hour interview with him that is airing as a special Signature Silicon Valley, but in our show today, we wanted to share an excerpt. Here's part of our conversation. You know, one of the things that you have been focusing upon in Silicon Valley is having diversity and really inclusion become a part of not only conversation, but action at the tech companies. How did this particular thrust begin?
Well, you know, it began maybe even 15 years ago. At that time, David Drummond from Google had just done the incorporation papers for Google. It was a very young company at that time. At that time, John Thompson, who is now the chair of the board of Microsoft, was sitting in Symantec in Silicon Valley. We were trying to work our way through what we saw as patterns of discrimination for women and people of color, which happens to be combined the majority market. And then, of course, the recession hit, and a lot of the focus shifted to the Barack Obama campaign for the presidency. And so while we remained involved, not as involved as we are now. And what we found when we looked is that the 20 top companies, 189 board members, 36 women, 3 African Americans, 1 Latino. Our index of consumption is much higher than that. And then the C-suite's even worse than that. Unemployment for blacks and browns is around 2 or 3%. And when it comes to putting up upfront money for startup companies, almost none. Well, those limitations limit growth. It suppresses black and brown and female potential, but also limits growth. You know, when there's a wall, on both sides of the wall, there is ignorance, fear, hatred, violence, and limitations. But when the walls come down, we can share the sunlight, and we can all grow. And that's the whole point of our mission, is not so much as to disrupt, but as to fulfill the law of the American promise, which is equality leads to justice, and a soul rub raw leads to anarchy and chaos. We want order. And that means training our youth in stem cell in their formative years. It means opening up a pool of capital for small businesses to get in, for startups to get in for the first time. It means looking at the boards of directors and diversifying those boards. Why? Because the black and brown community represents money, market,
Absolutely.
Talent, and location. So you lock out those markets, you're locking out growth, and that it's irrational. Maybe it's convenient, but it's irrational.
And it's been practiced for so long, too.
Been practiced for so long, and you're also locking out genius. Part of this industry is built on creativity. Can you imagine baseball making it illegal for Barry Bonds to play, or for Jackie Robinson to play? Basketball making it illegal for Hank Aaron or for Michael Jordan to play, Hank Aaron to play, or for Michael Jordan to play Bill Russell. It doesn't make sense. Right. We've gone through that before, and so we're saying to the battle, open up employment and teach our own children STEM.
Yes, and also hire people who are very well qualified, who have not been invited to participate, invited to apply, or seen as being viable candidates when it comes to these. I mean,
we had people there from the top schools.
This was at Intel today at the Forum Summit.
Caltech, and we had the Dean of Engineering at Georgia Tech, Dr. May.
Yes.
An African American male. Had a dean of the school from Texas A&M, an African American female. So you have all this tremendous talent pool without opportunity. So really in Silicon Valley, there's not so much a talent deficit as there's an opportunity deficit. We want to close that gap.
Yes, and you had a great analogy today, a football analogy, about if certain players had to run more yards to make a touchdown, that really speaks to what you're talking about
One
here.
of the rules, if on the football field where you have this combat every Sunday afternoon, and then when it's all over, the winner has grace, the loser has dignity, because each play within a certain set of rules. So whenever, if you're on the football field, if blacks had to run 12 yards for a first down for some social reason, and whites had to run 8 yards for first down because they inherited some yards, again, wouldn't be fair, wouldn't be just, it wouldn't make sense. But what makes the game so exciting is 10 yards for all first downs, is 6 points for all touchdowns. And whenever the playing field is even, and the rules are public, and the goals are clear, and the referees are fair, and the score is transparent, we all can make it, and we can all accept the outcome. But when the playing field is not even, the rules are not public, they're not clear, they're not fair, and there's always chaos. And so I say, let's do the right thing.
For more information about Rainbow Push Silicon Valley, details are on our screen. As we begin a new year, for some, the top priority is finding housing. Claire Wagner is the director of Home First, and Home First offers a variety of services from people who are homeless to people who are looking for permanent housing and are in temporary housing. Claire, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
I should say, and it was in March that you changed the name from EHC Life Builders to Home First, but some people are still getting used to it because, of course, you have a long history in the Valley with the services that you're doing. Let's talk about how people might engage with you. Someone watching right now might be in need. What would be the first step?
Well, anyone who is in need can actually call the homeless helpline.
Okay, and we'll put that number up.
Yeah, we can put that number up. That is something also that community members can call too if they are concerned about someone that they see on the streets. And that's one way to access services. Our website also lists other ways to access specific programs. But a lot of what we do is actually go out to where people are. So we have the largest outreach team in the county of Santa Clara, and we spend a lot of time going out to all the encampments. We track them and keep a record of who's there. And our team goes out just about every weekday to try to find people and match them up with services. We also bring snacks and hygiene items and other things they might need. And we also accompany the nurses and doctors from the Valley Homeless Healthcare Program, which is part of Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. We go with them to meet with their clients out in the field as well. So we are spending a lot of time trying to find people, as well as, of course, accepting people who come in contact with us. Another thing that they can do is just to come down to our main service center and shelter, which is the Bocardo Reception Center, and it's at 2011 Little Orchard in San Jose. And we always recommend that people just come there directly and ask to have an intake, which is to get an evaluation of what programs they might qualify for, whether it's shelter or other kinds of programs.
It's wonderful that you have such comprehensive services, and certainly with the dismantling of the Jungle, which is the largest homeless encampment, which was the largest homeless encampment in San Jose last year, there were a lot of people who then needed additional services. How did you work with the police department and others to help the people who were in need?
We actually have partnered with the city of San Jose for quite a while to provide services. In fact, they fund most of our outreach efforts already. So they've been a great partner with us. When they set their plans for closing the Jungle, we were with them every step of the way in terms of figuring out the best way to help people. So the published report said there were about 150 people who received housing. And many of those vouchers, housing vouchers, were made available by the city of San Jose. And we were one of a group of nonprofits who worked with people at the Jungle to get them those vouchers and to then get them into housing. So we were a large part of that effort.
Was that temporary housing, or what kind of housing did they receive?
It was a range. A lot of them did get permanent housing, so actual apartments or rooms in homes, and they were on permanent vouchers. Generally the permanent vouchers are for people that are disabled, have medical problems and really cannot take care of themselves, really can't earn a living. So they need long-term housing options such as Section 8 or VOSH, which is the vouchers for veterans. And we tend to specialize in working with the chronically homeless and the people that have the most challenges, the most barriers. And many of them are not employable or not employable full-time, so they need the most assistance. So we had a large part in that effort through outreach down at the jungle. We also do help people when it's possible to get them into transitional housing, it's called.
Which is temporary,
right.
but and sometimes that's to a shelter and then to an apartment or something along those lines.
Transitional housing tends to be sort of time limited. So it could be a year or 2 years, depending on what situation and what the funding stream is, where it comes from. And then, of course, as you know, a lot of people ended up needing to go into shelter.
Yes.
So the city of San Jose contracted with us to provide 27 beds at the Picardo Reception Center specifically for jungle residents. So along with the city and our other nonprofit partners, we all did our best to help people. But as everyone knows, there were scores of people who were unable to find places to go.
Yes, very tragic, especially with all of the rains and everything.
Yeah.
But, and also, once someone does find the housing, there are also the psychological issues. There are the things that led to being homeless, and then once you're reorienting toward being in a home, there's the social service support that's critical. You provide that as well.
We do, actually, and depending on the type of, depending on the person that we're trying to help, we don't necessarily have any kind of a time limit on our services. So many people need what's called permanent supportive housing. So once we get them a place to help them find a place to live and get them settled in, we provide services to them for as long as they need it. So we provide all the services leading up to getting into housing and getting there and getting them moved in, and then starting to help them work on their issues, their long-term issues. And sometimes it's multiple barriers. They need referrals to counseling services. Some of them are able to work. They need some employment assistance. And if we don't provide those particular things, we know who to refer them to. We check up on them. We help them socialize with each other at certain complexes where a lot of people who have been homeless are living. You know, we often have social events, and we have workshops as well. So
wonderful.
We keep tabs on people. That's what's really important. Housing is the solution to homelessness, and for people who have a lot of barriers, have been homeless for long periods of time, the chronically homeless, keeping connected with them is essential.
Yes.
And I think the thing that's really interesting to point out about all of this is that even with all the services and the housing, including vouchers, it's still 3 or 4 times cheaper to taxpayers, less money to taxpayers, to actually put people in the housing and provide them these services than to leave them out on the street.
Yes, and certainly we want that too, because for our community
Yeah.
and just for each person to be
Right.
able to have that is so critical.
Right.
We really appreciate all that you're doing, and thank you for the services that you're providing to really make a difference. You are helping people reconnect, restore their lives, and really just have hope, and beyond that, to
Yeah.
see how they can have new chapters in their lives beyond what is devastating to lose a home and to be homeless. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Oh yes, we mentioned that hotline would be one of the numbers that we're going to give you. That's on our screen, as well as the website and other details about how to reach Home First. And please do reach out. We're celebrating a new year, and what better way to celebrate than with a new look? If I bat my lashes a little more during this segment, it's because I have some additional lashes courtesy of Sarah Dashty. She's a makeup artist extraordinaire who does the makeup for Signature Silicon Valley. She's also done the makeup for Gigi on the Shaws of the Sunset, as well as for Ari Fitz, MTV personality, and the 49ers. But of course, they don't get lashes like these. Anyway, Sarah, welcome. Nice to have you in front of the camera. We usually have you behind the scenes.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do is find out what are the new trends for 2015. Obviously, what I am wearing right now is more of a party look, but for people who just want to enhance their look, what do you recommend for the new year?
The new trend for just doing the makeup just for eyes and lips, it seems to be more towards the more natural look for lips, like just glossy lips, and for the eyes are just like very soft eyeshadows, pastel colors, very, very soft. and also bronzed skin. That's
Okay.
very in, and it's coming. I mean, bronzed skin is always in,
Right.
but
Not just
it
for
seems
summertime.
to be, yes, it just seems to be is more concentrated. They fashion concentrate on it more, like contouring, doing different bronzers, colors that has gold in it. So it's a combination of two worlds of fashion and just a normal
Just a
makeup
normal
or just a
enhancement.
normal enhancement. Yes.
Right. So earlier on the show, we did a little bit, starting with my foundation already on, but obviously not this look. And you can take a look at some of what Sarah did to bring about this particular look.
So we've already applied the foundation for
Foundation,
you.
yes.
I'll just kind of blend it more.
Okay. Blending is
So one of the most important things for the eyeshadow is the primer. So
Okay.
we'll just apply some primer.
And what is primer?
It's the base for any eyeshadow that would make it last longer and looks better. It blends better with the skin and makes the eyeshadow last longer.
It's so important because there's nothing like doing your look and then finding out midway through the day or the night that it's all gone.
Exactly.
After all that hard
So,
time
Have you
of working.
close your eyes
Okay.
and it's mostly on your eyelid and over your crease. If you go not in such a straight line and you mess it up, you can always correct it with a dark eyeshadow, like black
Oh.
eyeshadow. You can go over it. Have you open your eyes and look that way?
Okay.
And do the corners and this way.
And that's one of the things that we learned too, is that you apply mascara differently, because a lot of times people tend to just roll it from left to right, but it's better to do what you're doing. Wow, those are
Really?
glam.
Really big lashes.
Right, those are like the six. And that keeps it from bleeding or feathering,
It does,
right?
yeah. But clean it up a little bit. And you are
I'm set.
on these, but that's the idea
All right.
for a
The
party.
glam look. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So, obviously, what you put on me is more of the smoky eye, and I'm loving it, really enjoying that. When you are working with someone, you really have to look at their own natural beauty to bring out things so it doesn't become a caricature. How do you do that?
Everybody has obviously different skin tone, and I look at what is their under skin tone, if it's yellow, if it's pink, and I kind of go with always, my motto is just enhance the beauty of what they have. It's makeup and foundation, and these colors are not meant to make a different person out of you, but it's just enhance your natural beauty, and it just make you feel confident by just being you. It
Yes.
is just better.
Right.
So-
I know the whole crew is saying they love the looks. Thank you for that.
Sure.
How did you get started in makeup? You're from Iran. You came to Silicon Valley about 12 years ago.
12 years
So were
ago.
you doing makeup in Iran before you came here?
No, but I had interest in colors and looking at fashion magazines. So I was interested in fashion, but it was about 6 years ago. My degree totally is in a different area. It's in community health education and nursing, and
Really? Very interesting.
but 6 years ago I found my passion, and it was just through someone really inspired me. One of the makeup artists that was at the mall, kind of gave me the inspiration, and I became very interested. I went to school for it for a few months, and it just worked out great. I was loving it. I was loving it, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So that's how I got into that area of work.
Yes, well, your passion for it shows, and we're all the better because of it.
Thank
So
you.
really appreciate what you've done today and what you can
Yeah.
continue to do for Signature Silicon Valley, as well as what you do within the fashion industry and everything. So I want to thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here. Thank you for glamming me up. And if you'd like to contact Sarah, here's how to do so. The details are on our screen. Of course, we're in a new year, but it's always wonderful to remember the holiday season. So today we have some highlights from 49er Vernon Davis's Toy Drive. Enjoy. We are on location at Gallery 85 Santana Row. Vernon Davis's Foundation for the Arts is completing a toy drive that's been amazing. Congratulations on this today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Oh, certainly, our pleasure. Now let's talk about the idea of how the toy drive began.
Well, the toy drive started last Christmas. I wanted to do something special for the kids, especially the kids who are not able to receive Christmas gifts or even have a Christmas. So I wanted to come up with this here at Gallery 85, where we're able to accept donations, toy donations, and give them out to the kids that are in need.
Yes. And you chose kids from Allen Rock and different areas. You even sent buses to make sure they were able to come today. What is it about giving back that inspires you?
You know what? Life is all about giving back. Anytime that you can open up and just give, that's what life is all about. And it's just a good thing. Out of all things, we must be considerate of others. And when I say considerate, I mean acknowledging the simple fact that there's a lot of families out there that cannot afford to even buy groceries. So it's good that you give back, especially when you're in a position to give.
When you were little, did you ever think you'd be in a position like this, or were you sometimes just hoping for one special toy at Christmas time?
You know, it's interesting because I was the one accepting the gifts as a kid. You know, my family, we didn't really have a lot. You know, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. My grandmother was raising me and my 6 siblings, so she had to provide for all of us. And with that being said, we had to take it one day at a time. So for me to be able to do something like this means a lot to me, and not just to me, but to my family as well, because this is something that my grandparents want to see me do. This is something that all the people that I grew up with want to see, that a young man like myself is doing great things such as this to give back, you know, because I can understand. I can put myself in their shoes and feel how they feel.
And some of the kids were so thrilled to see you here today. That must have been fun just to see their excitement at meeting you.
It is. It's always exciting when the kids come up and they're like, "You're Vernon Davis?" "Yeah, I'm Vernon. But it's always fun, and you know, it cheers me up, and it just brings joy to my heart to be able to look at these kids face to face and see that they appreciate me as much as I appreciate them.
Yes. I was talking with someone outside who said he'd followed your career from Maryland, and he was excited to be here with a lot of the young people in his family. So you have a lot of people who have followed you for years. How are you different from the Vernon back in Maryland days, if in any way?
You know what, just like life is about giving, it's also about change. You know, change is for the better, especially if you're positive and you're just optimistic about whatever it is that you're doing. That's what it's all about. And growing up as a kid and going from high school to college, you know, I made strides, and going from college to the pros, I made another stride where I was able to change and become a better man. You know, not just a better man, but a better person as far as giving back and just being thoughtful and considerate to others.
Right. Any reflections that you'd like to share on this past season?
You know what? This past season was tough. It was really, really tough. We had to endure a lot of pain, a lot of stress, and you know, ups and downs, but we still managed to stay in there as a team and fight through it. There's a lot of guys on the team that didn't get the things that they thought they deserved, but they still just kept fighting. Even for myself, I was in a position where they wasn't really using me, but I still had to be that leader, and I still had to just go to work hard, and do what I know I could do. And I did it. You know, I stayed positive, and I remained a professional in everything that I was doing. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do.
Right, and reflect in that way.
Yeah.
You created this gallery because you have an artistic side. Many of the works here are yours. When do you have time for art? Is that usually during the off season, or how does that work for you?
Usually during the off season is when I have the most amount of time, because of the season. The season's just so long, and football takes up so much of your time. We're at work from 7 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. So there's all your time right there.
Right.
So in order for me to really be able to indulge in painting is during the off season.
So looking forward to that. And you have scholarships for people who participate. How are they chosen? How are the scholarship recipients chosen for the foundation, Vernon Davis Foundation for the Arts?
So basically we partner up with different organizations, different foundations, and we get together that way. And another way we do it is by giving out gap scholarships. There's a lot of kids who apply for financial aid. They can get it, but they still need that extra help. Then there's kids that can't really get the financial aid, so they need some extra push in order to get into school. Right. So that's where we come in, and we provide the financial help in that area, and that's pretty much it. And then we have all the other programs like the toy drives and Thanksgiving, and we also do other things with other partners and foundations as well.
I know when we talk about putting the signature on the Valley, you're certainly doing that in a number of ways. So for a kid who's discouraged, or someone at any age right now who might be discouraged about how life has turned out, what can you share from what you draw from that might encourage someone else?
I can pretty much share my story, how art all began for me. In high school, I was afraid to pursue arts. I didn't really want to pursue it because I wanted to be cool. But in order to be cool, you had to be a football or basketball player. So I pursued football and basketball and didn't really pay attention to art. It wasn't until I got into college where I decided to change my path, change my major, and I became an art studio major. After that, didn't look back at all. I just kept going. Didn't really matter what people had to say about me. I didn't care. I didn't care because I knew that I had to block that out in order for me to get to the next level. So once they hear that, then they can start shaking their head. And be
Right.
Like, okay.
Nodding in recognition.
Okay, he had to go through a lot. He had to go through a lot.
Yeah.
And there it is. And after that, life continues to go on. And there's still trials and tribulations that you have to face, but you still have to be optimistic, like I said before,
Right.
in order for you to allow yourself to grow.
Absolutely. Any New Year's resolutions?
My New Year's resolution is to keep getting better.
I like that.
Keep getting better.
Keep getting better. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for giving back, and we see that you keep getting better every year. So Vernon Davis,
Thank you. I
thank you for
appreciate
joining
it.
us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. If you'd like to contact the Vernon Davis Foundation for the Arts, details are on our screen. That's our show. I'm Janice Edwards. Thank you for putting your signature on our Valley. And we appreciate you joining us. Please join us again next time. And we leave you today with highlights from the Toy Drive. We are talking with DJ and little Julius, who's won in his 49er hat, and as well as other members of the family. Why is today special for you?
Special for Vernon Davis to come out here and just get back to the kids. We come out here, we appreciate it. We're faithful Niner fans, and we're loyal to all Niner organizations, all Niners events. We like to just come out and let the players get back to not only the kids but to the fans as well. So we're here. We appreciate everything they do for us.
Tara Alicia performed today at the Vernon Davis Foundation for the Arts Toy Drive. And Tara, why was it important for you to be here?
It was really important to me because I really love the fact that he supports keeping arts, with the kids and underprivileged youth. So I really support that. I'm a musician, so we definitely want to keep the arts in the schools and keep, kids well within that.
So Capes for Heroes is a nonprofit organization, and what we do is we make superhero capes for children battling a life-threatening illness, disability, or life struggle. And we actually teamed up with Vernon just last week and did an event at El Camino Hospital where we handed capes out to all the kids there, and then they invited us to come here to this event and hand out capes to all the superheroes that were here.
And what did it mean for you to be here today and participate as you have?
It always brings a smile to my face to be able to see the children that are dealing with whatever it is that they're dealing with, to be able to smile and to have a little part in that, and to let them know that a superhero cape is not just fabric, it's actually a tool to show them and to showcase their strength and their courage to keep fighting their battles.
I think I like doing this Christmas, hang all the mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better this Christmas.
I know, that's a favorite.